Hello and welcome to Patron Saints of Pop Culture Podcast. Today we are not going to be talking about any piece of pop culture. Instead, we're just going to talk about what we've been doing because it's Memorial Day weekend. We have a lot of stuff that we need to get to, like more yard work and
endless yard work.
Yeah. And so, we haven't really had any pop culture stuff that really stood out to us within the last few weeks, and so that's kind of where we're at. Is we're still finishing up *Handmaid's Tale*. We're still finishing up *Westworld*. We'll talk about those when we get to them. *Deadpool 2*. We haven't had a chance to go watch in theaters. Let's see, something else just came out recently that we haven't had a chance to go see. Oh, *Solo*. We haven't had a chance to go see that. There really has not been a whole lot that we've actually been able to get to. We did just start watching the Magicians television series, and I'll talk about that because I just finished up the book series, the 3 books in Lev Grossman's series there for The Magicians. It was actually a really good series. I recommend reading that or listening to it if you're an audiobook person. And I have just started book 11 of the Zombie Fallout series. Yes, I am a kind of addicted to zombie books and movies and video games. So there's that.
All right. I haven't been doing very much. I don't really read any books because I don't really have the time to do so. But I have been listening to some podcasts. The season 2 of In the Dark is slowly coming out. If you guys like true crime, and also if you guys like getting angry at how our judicial system works, In the Dark would be a good podcast for you to listen to. Also, too, I am currently in the middle of watching Wild Wild Country. That is about a cult that moved to Oregon, and let's just say craziness ensued. Like, it's insane. So I highly recommend that. As you probably know, it is like real life, so you can always like look up what actually happened. And then also too, I guess recently, I was one of those crazy people that did watch the Rachel Divide, more on curiosity than anything, and it gave me lots of feelings.
Okay.
It just gave me lots of feelings. Like, I never expected myself to feel kind of bad for her, but I do in a way, but I'm also still very angry at her.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. You just have to watch it. I mean, I guess the documentary series kind of shows, I mean, she is human, and it exposes her humanity, and I think it's a good reminder that everybody still is human, even if they make poor decisions, and yeah, it's hard to sympathize with some people, but yeah, so it was interesting. It gave me lots of feelings.
Well, and that was something that we pulled out. We did watch Bridge to Terabithia with our son this morning. He wasn't really that interested in it, but
because it's not a cartoon.
Yeah, there's not enough computer animation in it, and the computer animation that is in it is bad.
It's very bad. It's distractingly bad.
Yeah, but I think that's something that I wanted to talk about a little bit, was being able to see the humanity in everybody, and I think that was a big part of that movie. I think was being able to see the humanity in everybody, but also in being able to see beyond just your humanity. So
yeah, I mean, it's tough. How many times have we just like flown off the handle at complete strangers that we have no idea who their past is? Everybody does it. And I guess we just got to be a little bit more caring. Even if they aren't caring towards us, we have to try our best to be good people and be caring back to them.
Well, and that's what I wrote about this week. And that's another thing that I can recommend is go read my article this week. I am actually kind of proud of what I wrote. It does deal with a lot of what Presiding Bishop Michael Curry talked about at the royal wedding this past weekend, was love. Yeah, and treating everyone like that, and that it is our way out of this nightmare that we're in. That we are the ones that are contributing to this. We are the ones that are isolating ourselves because of the things that we're afraid of. I mean, I'll be open and honest about my fear. Is that one of my biggest fears right now is that that I feel like we are just one step away from finding everybody of Mexican heritage and either locking them up or deporting them to a country that they never knew. That's me right now. Is I feel because my father's from Mexico, is from Guadalajara, and like I've never been that deep into Mexico. I've just been across the border, and I've never known it. I've never known anybody there besides family that I've met here in the United States, and so. My fear is, I know it may not be rational, but I feel that that's the way that we are headed. That's the path that we're heading down. And that is my fear. And I'll admit to it. I'll admit to the fact that I am afraid of this. I'm afraid of being arrested. I'm afraid of being taken away from my family just because of my heritage.
Yeah, I'll protect you. Like, I don't know. Like, I know, I understand that fear is real in you, but I don't think we're that close yet. There's plenty of people who are still going to stand up and fight before any of that kind of stuff happens.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's what we're doing right now. Yeah, tonight we'll be watching Westworld. We are actually just starting.
Westworld.
There are a few documentaries on Netflix which we're looking into. Mm-hmm. There is this new one that started by Vox and Netflix called Explained, which I thought looked rather interesting. So we may actually have some parts to talk about of that. So I know one of them, it talks about monogamy, which I thought was rather interesting. So let's see. Oh, yes. The Evil Genius is another one on Netflix. Since we live very close to Erie, Pennsylvania, is another one that I've been interested in.
Yep.
So if there's any pieces of pop culture that you think that we should be talking about, if it be long or short, if it be something that you think that we should overanalyze for your listening benefit, please let us know. You can contact us on our website, on most social media platforms. You can even give us a call or a text at 720-372-3879. Again, that is 720-372-3879. That is a Google Voice number, so just send us a text or a call, and we will try to get to whatever it is that you're wanting us to get to. We're open to suggestions. We're open to things, unless we get through like halfway through the first episode and we're like, oh my God, this is horrible. We can't sit through this.
Yeah.
Like we did with Lost in Space and The Punisher.
We tried.
Yeah, it's true. We did try. I really wanted Lost in Space to work. I really did. It was just so bad. There was no chemistry between any of the actors.
No, I didn't have any. I'm like, I know I need to feel for these characters, but I don't know them enough to... No one saved the cat is what happened. No one has saved the cat yet. Yeah,
there was like... It's like jumping into the middle of the story of people that you don't really care about.
Yeah, exactly. So. Like start like just halfway through a movie.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of the storytelling piece is that you need to have that moment that makes you want to care for somebody.
Well, and I feel like our writers, or not necessarily writers, producers as well, need to remember that they can't just rely on us knowing about the characters like through other media.
Yeah.
I think was what the problem is. Like, yeah, like I have watched past Lost in Spaces. I've seen the movies too. And still, I was just like, I don't care about these people, even though I knew their backstory.
Yeah. It was kind of more like, I would say, like jumping into season 2 of Handmaid's Tale. Like there's nothing for you there to care about Offred or anything that
of Glenn.
Yeah, of Glenn or anything else like that. Like if you were to just jump into that, it would just be traumatizing for no real benefit.
Exactly. So. Well, you can also argue that it's traumatizing for no real benefit either.
Well, yes. But having watched season 1, you're invested now.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is where season 2 needed to go, is that it needed to be more like it needed to get in a little bit deeper into that.
Yep.
Because season 1 was filmed, it was finalized well before Donald Trump became president, and now they've got this world that they've written season 2 into that it's like, oh, we've got to talk about some of this stuff. So.
But good news in the world, Ireland the people have voted and they have decided that they want to allow abortions, which is a huge thing. I very much applaud them. I know a lot of people are very upset right now, but I think this is going to be a huge benefit.
Yeah.
A huge benefit for the country.
So, now that we have exhausted what we're actually going to talk about today, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you listeners, and we know that taking a break is not fun for you guys, but sometimes it is very necessary for us to actually catch up on some of the things that we need to do in our own personal lives. So.
Yep, exactly.
So with all of that being said, we invite you to come and join the conversation.
Bye.